There are places where colors, patterns, and landscapes shift with every step, where desert meets ocean and mountains rise beyond ancient cities. A land where culture feels layered and every detail carries the imprint of history. North Africa lies Morocco, a country defined by striking contrasts from the sweeping dunes of the Sahara to the rugged peaks of the Atlas Mountains. Its geography creates a diverse landscape where climates and environments change dramatically across relatively short distances. Historically, Morocco has stood at the crossroads of Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, shaped by Berber, Arab, and European influences over centuries. This fusion is visible in architecture, language, and daily life, from intricate medinas to coastal towns influenced by trade and exploration. Yet beyond its well-known cities lies something less seen: hidden valleys, remote villages, and desert landscapes that feel timeless. Places where tradition remains deeply rooted and where the rhythm of life follows the land. At the meeting point of continents, where ocean currents touch desert winds and mountains rise between worlds, there exists a land shaped by both movement and memory. A place where geography has guided history and where history continues to define identity. In North Africa lies Morocco, a country positioned between the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, and the vast Sahara Desert. This unique location has made it a natural crossroads, connecting Africa with Europe and the Middle East for centuries. The rugged Atlas Mountains divide the landscape into distinct regions, from fertile coastal plains to arid inland deserts. Historically, Morocco has been shaped by successive civilizations, from indigenous Berber kingdoms to Arab dynasties and later European influence. Its coastal position enabled trade, exploration, and cultural exchange, leaving behind a rich blend of traditions visible in architecture, language, and daily life. Geography has always played a central role. Mountain barriers created isolated communities, while desert routes formed ancient trade networks that carried goods and ideas across the Sahara. A place where continents meet and where geography and history are deeply intertwined. Where the Atlantic meets fortified walls and wind shapes the rhythm of daily life, there exists a city defined by movement, of air, of water, and of history. A place where the ocean is never far and where every corner feels open to the horizon. On the western coast of Morocco lies Essaouira, a historic port city known for its windswept beaches and well-preserved medina. Facing the Atlantic Ocean, its location has long made it a point of connection between continents, cultures, and trade routes. Here, strong coastal winds move constantly through the city, shaping everything from daily life to architecture. The Medina's whitewashed walls and blue accents reflect both function and aesthetic, while narrow streets lead to open squares overlooking the sea. But beyond its structure, Essaouira carries a distinct atmosphere, relaxed yet alive. The sound of waves blends with the movement of the wind, creating a rhythm that defines the entire experience. There are landscapes where mountains do not simply rise, but divide worlds, shaping climate, culture, and movement across an entire region. A place where peaks stretch endlessly and valleys hold stories of isolation and survival. Across Morocco extends the vast Atlas Mountains, a powerful natural barrier that runs diagonally through the country, separating the fertile coastal regions from the Sahara Desert beyond. These mountains form one of the most defining geographical features in North Africa. Here, the terrain shifts dramatically. Snow can cover higher peaks, while lower valleys support small villages and terraced agriculture shaped by centuries of adaptation. The mountains are home to many Berber communities whose traditions, architecture, and way of life remain closely tied to the land. But beyond their physical presence, the Atlas Mountains create contrast. They divide climates, influence trade routes, and shape how people live across regions, making them not just a landscape but a force that defines the country itself. Where a river meets the ocean and history unfolds across quiet streets, there exists a city shaped by balance between power and calm, tradition and modern life. A place where movement feels measured and where every space carries a sense of order. On the Atlantic coast of Morocco lies Rabat, the political capital of the country and a center of governance and heritage. Situated along the Beau Regreg River, it forms a natural connection between inland and ocean landscapes. Here, wide avenues and open spaces create a sense of structure, while historic landmarks such as the Kasbah of the Udayas and the Hassan Tower reflect centuries of architectural and cultural development. The city's layout feels both modern and grounded, offering a quieter contrast to Morocco's more crowded urban centers. But beyond its role, Rabat carries a distinct atmosphere, calm, coastal, and composed. The rhythm of life moves steadily, shaped by both government presence and the surrounding environment. In a land where tradition runs deep and history shapes every corner, there exists a city that looks forward, dynamic, expanding, and constantly in motion. A place where modern life rises along the coast, yet the ocean remains a constant presence. On the Atlantic coast of Morocco lies Casablanca, the country's largest city and economic center. Unlike the ancient Medinas found elsewhere, Casablanca reflects a more contemporary identity with wide boulevards, modern architecture, and a skyline that continues to evolve. Yet within this modern setting stands one of the most striking landmarks in the region, the Hassan II Mosque. Built partially over the ocean, its towering minaret rises above the coastline, blending intricate traditional design with monumental scale. Here, the contrast defines everything. The energy of a growing metropolis meets the timeless rhythm of the Atlantic, while history and modern ambition exist side by side. There are places where architecture rises directly from the earth, where walls share the same color as the land and entire settlements seem carved from the desert itself. A place where time feels suspended and where history remains visible in every structure. In southern Morocco, along the edge of the Atlas Mountains, lies Aït Ben Haddou, a historic khazar built from earth and clay and surrounded by arid landscape. Once an important stop along ancient caravan routes, this fortified village connected trade between the Sahara and the city of Marrakesh. Here, towers rise with simple geometric form, while narrow passageways wind between tightly packed buildings designed for both protection and climate. The entire structure blends seamlessly into its surroundings, its warm tones shifting under changing sunlight from pale ochre to deep amber. But beyond its visual impact, Aït Ben Haddou carries a deep historical presence, preserving a way of life shaped by trade, desert conditions, and community. There are places where color transforms everything, where streets, stairs, and walls become part of a single vision. A place where blue is not just a color, but an atmosphere that defines the entire experience. Northern Morocco, nestled within the Rif Mountains, lies Chefchaouen, a small city known for its striking blue-painted Medina. Surrounded by rugged peaks, it feels both protected and isolated, creating a calm, almost dreamlike environment. Here, shades of blue cover walls, doors, and pathways, reflecting light in soft tones that shift throughout the day. Narrow streets wind through the hillside, opening into quiet squares and hidden corners where the outside world seems distant. But beyond its visual beauty, Chefchaouen carries a unique cultural blend influenced by Berber Arab and Andalusian heritage. This fusion shapes both its architecture and its slower, more relaxed rhythm of life. A place where color becomes identity and where simplicity creates something unforgettable. There are cities where time does not move forward, but folds inward, layer upon layer, until the present feels inseparable from the past. A place where every street is a passage through history and where movement itself becomes discovery. Northern Morocco lies Fez, one of the oldest and most culturally rich cities in the country. Known for its vast Medina, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Fez preserves a living urban landscape that has remained largely unchanged for centuries. Here, narrow alleyways twist through a dense network of markets, homes, and workshops, creating a maze-like environment where navigation relies on instinct rather than direction. Traditional crafts continue to define daily life, from leather tanneries to intricate tile work, keeping ancient skills alive in a modern world. But beyond its complexity, Fez carries a deeper atmosphere. The city hums with quiet intensity, sounds echo through stone corridors, and the past feels present in every detail. There are cities where color, energy, and history collide, where every street feels alive and every corner reveals something unexpected. A place where movement never truly stops and where the atmosphere itself becomes part of the experience. In central Morocco lies Marrakesh, one of the country's most iconic and vibrant cities. Known as the Red City for its earth-toned walls and buildings, it stands at the crossroads of desert, mountains, and ancient trade routes. Here, the Medina unfolds as a maze of narrow streets filled with markets, colors, and constant motion. At its heart lies Jama El Fna, a vast square that transforms throughout the day, from quiet openness to a dynamic gathering of performers, food vendors, and local life as night falls. But beyond its energy, Marrakesh carries a deep historical presence. Palaces, gardens, and mosques reflect centuries of cultural influence, while the surrounding landscape connects the city to both the Atlas Mountains and the Sahara. From blue-painted mountain towns to desert fortresses rising from the earth, this journey has revealed a land shaped by color, contrast, and centuries of cultural exchange. Places where history lives within walls and where landscapes shift from ocean to desert in a single horizon. Beyond the familiar lies another Morocco, hidden valleys, quiet medinas, and moments where tradition continues untouched by time. A world where every detail, from architecture to atmosphere, tells a deeper story. These are not just destinations, they are reflections of a country where geography and culture are inseparable, each shaping the other across generations. And like all hidden wonders, there is always more waiting to be discovered.